Act of 2004 on Item 3 under its content on compulsory free universal basic education stated clearly that services in public primary and junior secondary schools are free of charge. The reverse are the experiences of parents of pupils and students in most public schools in the Federal Capital Territory.
$22,500 as extra book. Okay.
As they say, education at the first 9 years basic level is no longer free. In this episode of Leaves and Worms, AD4 TV Radio examines the issue of unending extortion by school administrators. This episode also delved into how the unending extortion forces students out of school and increases the already increasing figures of out-of-school children on the streets of the Federal Capital Territory. A visitation to the Unity schools in the FCT reviewed how parents share basic education costs with the government through what experts now describe as user fee. It is crucial to clarify that federal government colleges are co-educational day and boarding, basic and post-basic institutions owned and catered for by the Federal Ministry of Education and through its yearly budget. As extracted from the WhatsApp platform of the Parents Teachers Association of the Federal Government College WUYE, parents lamented high prices of imposed items and the overbearing demands of the schools on parents.
Did you cost it along? Or you came with the receipt? Please let me call him and find out.
Further display of these conversations among the parents also pointed out connival between the Parent Teachers Association (PTA) and the school authority. These parents share their experiences with AD4 TV Radio, exposing the unending extortion by the school authorities from the parent.
This is a government school. It's the Federal Unity College, and before now, in the 80s, in the 70s, we know that education was free. But at what point did we come to all this? Now schools are requesting students to bring cutleries, two plates, 2 cups every month, and these are not unbreakable plates. These are stainless plates that you know that can last for a very long time before you can say, okay, let me change it. It's of no use demanding all this from students, because schools are putting pressures on parents to bring all this. Now they've asked them to bring rake, to bring to bring all manners of things. They bring these once in a section. Now look at the number of students we have in this school. There are more than 3,000 students, and we ask them to bring 3,000 O's in a section per section. What happens is that we have O's in our houses, we have rakes in our house, we use them. Sometimes we use them, it will last for 5, 6, 10 years. We are still using them. Why demanding for all these things every session? It's to me, it's just too much. It's too much on the part of the parents. So schools should not be asking parents to be bringing all these things, because they are putting more pressure on these students. School fees are there to be paid, feeding fees are there to be paid, books are there to be paid. Now coming to extra notes. I don't know why schools are asking for extra notes. These are students from SS1, they transfer to SS2 to SS3, and these are classes that they don't throw away their notes. If those notes they don't exhaust those notes, they should be made to continue with those notes. Once those notes finishes, then the schools or the parent can now request, or they can now buy these notes for the student. But the students' notes they've not been exhausted. We are demanding for more notes. Do we keep those notes aside and keep them away and throw them away? No. So I just believe that schools or government should look at this. Everything is hard in this country. To pay school fees is difficult for parents. To eat even is difficult for parents. Now you are demanding for extra meat. This should not come to play. They should please assist parents. They should please assist us so that we can give these children better education.
From what I'm seeing here, uniform is included in the school fees, but they are still asking us to show 3 extra uniforms. Also for textbook, I just heard that we are still going to buy extra textbook, like apart from the ones that are here. So the school fees is covering all these things, and that's how it's supposed to be. We are not supposed to be getting any extra, anything that they should do. They should make it inclusive in the school fees. Let's know we are paying it for once and for all. They'll get that feeling of the school extorting money from us. So things are difficult. They shouldn't make life more difficult for we, the parents and guardians.
A useless policy, exploitative policy, something that has no bearing, it has no meaning. As a matter of fact, it should be discouraged. But I've spoken against it, but you're like a lone voice in the wilderness. These things ought not to be. Now I came to pay PTA and it's gone up from 5,000 and it's now 7,500. Where? How? Why? What is all those exploitations all about? So really it's just that you don't know what to do again. But I'm very frustrated about it. I've been going to pay 1 or 2 things, these charges, and we are not even informed. Where is this 7,500 coming from again? It's very frustrating. That's all I could say to it. Just 2 textbooks is what they gave me. I'm going now back to buy 9,800 for books I don't even know. I don't know. It's very frustrating. That's just the pure fact. It's very frustrating. The books they put on the list of the school fees we are paying. Some of those books I just got two textbooks only. As they say, oh, let us give you the one that the payment cover, and what the payment cover is only 2 textbooks, and they are now listing other ones and are telling me go and pay extra 9,800, and that's what I just went to pay. I don't understand. They are just paying, they are just dealing with us in such a brutal manner. I don't know when our government will stop punishing us, and this is supposed to be a federal government institution. I don't know. I don't just know. Okay, if you are telling me to pay for these books, you would have even listed them all. I will know. Not after I have struggled to pay, then they'll tell me there are reminders. What's the meaning of those reminders? Now, didn't you know I will need it? Didn't you know I will need those other books that you didn't mention? And after I had gone to pay and I come back here, you tell me now go and pay. You don't even, can you imagine where PTA is now sending us to their agents outside? You will now go and pay service charge to instead of us to transfer money to them or they use our own POS. They now know you must go outside and do it so that the agent can collect money. Is it not? It's very frustrating now.
ileba anya na ọtụtụ mpụ na nrụrụ aka jupụtara na ụlọ akwụkwọ gọọmenti ndị nọ n'isi obodo Naijiria bụ Abuja, tụmadụ ka o si metụta mmụta na agụmakwụkwọ n'ogo dịgasị iche iche n'ebe ụmụntakịrị nwoke na nwaanyị nọ, ndị ntorobịa, ụmụ nwaanyị tinyekwara ndị nwere nkwarụ sonye ihe emereme Leaves and Worms na AD4 TV radio, ebe a na-eleba anya ma na-atụgharị atụmatụ gọọmenti dịgasị iche iche ka o siri metụta isiokwu a akpụ n'ọnụ. Na-esonyere anyị n'ihe emereme akwa izu ụka ọbụla n'akara mgbasa ozi anyị niile. Ọ bụ AD4 TV radio na njikọ aka Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism tinyekwara MacArthur Foundation kwadoro ma hụ maka nke a.
Abuja residents share their opinions on PTA members taking over the government responsibilities.
It beats my imagination that any school will leave projects or development of a school to the PTA. It's man's inhumanity to man, if you allow me to put it that way. For a school now, for government of any sane society to leave development of a school or the building or the facilitation of a school to the PTA. For crying out loud, this is supposed to be the duty of the government, because these are schools that are run by government and there is an allocation mapped out in the budget of the federation to run and manage these schools. So if any government or if any school is leaving out the PTA, making it their duty to carry out projects or development of schools, it's a far cry.
Very sad. The role of PTA should be complementary and not them taking over the basic things. The government should be supposed to provide the basic infrastructures and other things. Then if PTA are now taking over the development of facilities or establishment of what would I call it, some project in the school sectors, educational sector, I think it's very, very wrong, and it should be discouraged. Government should do more to discourage people from there. At least PTA can come in to complement the government effort and not taking over the structure. It's really sad.
PTA, is a kind of people coming together to see, the improvement, the development and all that. There is no seriousness over there. There's no seriousness.
Is an added burden upon the parents, because so many times you have to pay extra levy, extra fee, extra contribution here and there for you to get the best for the children. So I don't think is the good thing to experience, that the parents have to take over the the responsibility of the government. It's not a good idea. It's not a welcome development at all. However, it is a common phenomenon in all public schools that the government is supposed to take responsibility of certain things, but they are failing. So the government, the PTA now took it as a responsibility upon themselves to do some of those things.
In a telephone interview, Joshua Aroguyo, a social intervention specialist, speaks with AD4 TV Radio on the activities of PTA.
Well, let us also be careful when we use the word constitutional roles, because it's a voluntary organization, and so there are basically no constitutional rules. The only thing where maybe we'll look at constitutional rules from the purpose for which it was established. So you also have to understand that there are also schools that don't have anything called PTA. The idea of the PTA was a way of, just like you have relationship, teacher-student relationship, it was also a way to foster parent-teacher relationship. So the parents already have a relationship with their children, with their words, but the parents do not know these teachers. So it was important to create this, it's important to create this platform where parents can interact with teachers and of course school management, and get first-hand information as regarding development happenings in the school and the initiative the school is taking in fostering education and fostering teaching and learning. So that's the idea. So the role varies from school to school. Certain schools, you will see that their role is to contribute money to do this, to do that, while some other schools it is very passive. So there are no clearly spelled out roles for each PTA that you say this PTA has this responsibility to do this and that one has this. No, it is school dependent, location specific. There are a lot of variables. However, the general overarching responsibility of Parents Teachers Association is to foster relationship. It is relationship first, and then to understand, to create an opportunity where the parents understand what is happening in the schools, and then the school also understand the pulse of the parents. That's basically what it is.
Salau Flores, another parent on the Federal Government Girls College Buhari platform, in a message, suspected connivance between the PTA and the school management.
I've suggested it once that the school authority should have a representative on this platform to enable the authority to have a feedback mechanism from going on between the parents and the school's PTA schools. But we can see the conspiracy of silence between PTA schools and school authority over the rate of alarm and corrupt attitude of these parents. PTA schools, our elders says, when you see fire burning and dancing on top of water, definitely the drama is beneath the water. For me, since there is conspiracy of silence between the two authorities, the PTA schools and the school authority, this matter of corrupt attitudes of our PTA school and the complete silence of the school authority over the matter should be reported to Federal Ministry of Education and EFCC.
The platform also revealed the payment for damages, a sum of 2,500 naira payable in cash to the school bursar. A conversation on the payment of damages imposed by authorities of the Federal Government College Apo with a senior official of the Federal Ministry of Education Secondary Education Department who pleaded anonymity disclosed the authorities and the department supervising federal government colleges is in the know of the damage level. Parents of students in the FCT confirmed these same practices in the FCT-owned junior secondary schools and some public primary schools. With the over 1.4 trillion naira allocated to the Nigerian basic and post-basic education subsectors by the federal government, AD4 TV Radio speaks with Abdullahi Saleh, Education Chief at the Civil Society Action Coalition on Education for All, on funding for education at the first 9 years of basic education.
Ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ètò Leaves and Worms lórí ẹ̀rọ rédíò AD4 TV Radio bí a ó ṣe máa fojú lámẹ̀yìntàn wo àwọn ìwà ìbàjẹ́ lórí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ní gbogbo ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ní àwọn ilé ìwé ìjọba tó wà nílùú Àbújá tí ń ṣe olú ìlú orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà àti ipa irúfẹ́ ìwà ìbàjẹ́ náà máa ń kó lórí àwọn ọ̀dọ́mọdébìnrin ọ̀dọ́mọdékùnrin àwọn àkàndá ènìyàn àwọn obìnrin àti ọ̀dọ́ lápapọ̀. Bákan náà lórí ètò yìí a ó tún máa ṣàgbéyẹ̀wò nípa àwọn ètò ìlànà ìjọba tó ṣe pàtàkì àti ipa tí wọ́n ń kó lórí àwọn olùgbé ìlú Àbújá. Ẹ fojú sọ́nà bí a ó ṣe máa jẹ̀gbádùn ètò alárinrin yìí lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀. Ilé-iṣẹ́ AD4 TV Radio pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ ẹ̀ka ilé-iṣẹ́ Wọlé Ṣóyínká lórí ètò ìròyìn ìwádìí ló ṣe àtọ́kùn ètò yìí pẹ̀lú ìrànlọ́wọ́ àjọ MacArthur Foundation.
The word user fee came about because education, basic education, is meant to be absolutely free, coming from the UBE 2004 Act, which has all these provisions that government at all levels will foot whatever bills there are with regards to whether payment of teachers' salaries, uniforms for children, for the school children, the books, and whatever is needed to run basic education is absolutely free and the responsibility of government. However, we realize that some schools are making some charges. Now that's how they came about the user fee. Charges with regards to admissions, charges with regards to purchasing some of these items that we mentioned, whether they're books or uniforms or even your desks in some schools. So these fees are not supposed to be, largely because the UBE Act 2004 states that government is the responsibility of government as a way of encouraging enrollment into schools. So this has been happening, and there's a penalty in the Act. There's a penalty in the Act that if any teacher, any head teacher charges such fees, he will be penalized to the tune of 10,000 naira. And I understand when I made my findings that they would rather pay the 10,000 naira and collect the fees than lose that much. And this year, it's appalling that the charges are going higher. When in the past we saw them in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, now I see some schools charging as much as 64,000 naira at this time.
The Sakefa chief speaks to the over 1.1 trillion naira FCT recently approved by the 2024 fiscal year by the president for the 2024 fiscal year. To Saleh and other development partners, this remains figures on papers.
We have a policy. The policy should guide us in our operations. The policy has been designed and has been assented to and has been agreed. Now it's left for those who are in the offices implementing to now look at the policy, digest it and say, okay, because of this and this and this, when budgeting, we need to take this into consideration. And that's where I fault the capacity of those in office planning, whether it's planning, research, or statistics, for not doing the needful. Now, you should know that the policy states that all of these things should be provided. So why not budget for them? If you budget for them and the budget is not being accepted, then you know that it's a different ballgame. But then it looks like they don't even budget for that. And places where those things are budgeted for, I can assure you that the corruption in the country, the level of corruption, is so high that you will be shocked to know that these items have been budgeted for and they are not being purchased, especially and including chalk that the teacher needs to work to write with. Children are made to buy chalk. As small as it is, that's a major component of what you need within the teaching profession. But even as small as it is, chalk is not being provided by government. So we need to go back to the drawing board and ask germane questions. Who is responsible for the budgeting? The funds are there, but I think the problem is putting the funds where they should be. So I am not surprised if head teachers ask children to provide, because they also want to survive with all the issues being lined up, from non-payment of salaries to government is not looking at the welfare of the teachers. They look for other means of getting funds. So if those funds are being provided, they use them for other things.
The education expert also spoke on parent actions as regards salvaging school needs shortage situations, saying the practice completely negates and breaches the UBE Act of 2004.
The user fee, as I said, came about from poor budgeting or non-release of funds, and schools must go on. So probably at some point there was a time when government didn't provide, and that gave an opening for schools to say, okay, let's do something quickly. Can you people provide something so that you can remain in school? And parents will willingly agree, because it's just a short-term measure. However, it's been allowed to linger for so long, and now it has become a right. Unless government sticks to the policy document, sticks to the policy, the UBE Act, which states that education is free, therefore they should now provide for that, user fee will continue to be on the table. And largely, the biggest challenge is enforcing the policy, where it says that any head teacher who charges any fee should be penalized. The community, the parents, should take it upon themselves to ensure, again, that schools do the right thing.
Responses from students further confirmed the unending extortion of school administrators on parents who are already grappling with realities of the economy.
Last time, they added 500 to the PT, so it's now 2,000, and they added it to the school fees.
Apart from school fees, they say we should be bringing 2,000, just 2,000 for exam.
The unending demand for user fee on pupils and their parents in turn impacts on the basic education system. In the FCT, expert speaks further on this.
I think the level of corruption, we've assumed a very high level, such that people no longer fear what will happen to them, the consequences of these things they do, because it looks like there's no punitive measures for these actions. Therefore, they would rather keep the budgets into secrecy. I don't know if you've watched that even when they are asked to appear in the National Assembly, they go there and they don't come with any document, any reasonable document, such that after 2 or 3 days, the issue fizzles out, because they now do what the National Assembly again is demanding of them, to bring some kickback. Okay. I was in a validation of a document, inclusion policy on inclusion, And I did say that I want them to include in that policy that no form of charge, no form, I said it should be there, no form of charges should be should be charged, let me put it that way, on any child, so that that person will not be left out of school. And one of the key stakeholders stood up to tell me that, to challenge me that what if parents say they want to intervene here or there, would they refuse? I said no, that doesn't stop them from intervening. What I want is so that you do not insist now on that every child must do it because one parent says he wants to do it, then you make it across board that everyone must bring money for chalk, or everyone must bring money for games, or everyone should bring money for arts. If you want this policy to work, you must include that, because many people, their first reason of being out of school is that fee, is that user fee. So yes, for not making the budget available, for not doing the needful within the budget, putting these details, somebody has to pay for them. And so it's transferred largely to the student.
Exactly. So obviously it's contributing to the health of school.
Oh yes.
Ever increasing.
Oh yes. And we know it. And we know that if we do this and this and this, it will reduce the number of out-of-school children. But then every day, and that's why I said I do not want to participate in any forum again where out-of-school children will be discussed, because we are not tackling the issues headlong.
And with these thoughts on the impact of unending extortion of parents by education providers in FCT public schools, AD4 TV Radio identifies the need to hold administrators of school authorities more accountable on the provision of free and quality education in the FCT public schools, as provided for by the UBA Act of 2004.